Ashley, I just find you very interesting. I
Yeah,
thought that was
definitely.
really like,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm going to be thinking on this one
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
a while about
Yes.
that history piece.
Yeah.
And I know I would mention to Aaron that I really wanted to see if we could find more folks that could kind of speak to like that generational
Yes.
battle because I really think it's there. So
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for being on our show.
Yeah, for sure.
No worries.
Hmm.
I will prattle on about knitting history specifically forever because there are so many overlooked cool stories.
Yeah.
And like another one of my favorite ones is that women in concentration camps that were forced to like knit Nazi officers' socks
Oh my
would
gosh.
intentionally knit them wrong.
Oh,
They'd
Mm.
knit them like a little bit too tight so the officers would get blisters so they couldn't make it as far as the front lines, or they'd knit one cuff slightly looser than the other one so the officer would have to spend his whole day pulling his socks up.
Wow. Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
a great,
like, I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great example of there's not much I can do about this war, but by God, am I going to do
fun.
what I can about it? And it's making this man's feet hurt.
And
Definitely.
there's nothing more annoying than a sock that just won't
Oh
get.
my gosh. Where do
I
you
know,
get
it
like your
drives me insane.
like where do you get your stories? Like do you just are you just searching online for all these stories? Are there books that you read? I mean, is there just a bunch of resources out there for this kind of topic already or
There's there's not a massive amount of anything really. It's a lot
mm,
of piecing stories
hmm.
together because with it being women's history, no one's really writing it down.
Right.
And also, if you wanted to know how to knit a specific thing, you would just go and ask your neighbors. You would ask your community, or if
Yeah.
something was happening, you'd just talk to people around you because
Hmm.
that's what women do.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, it kind of
it
forces
didn't
Yeah.
them.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have to be a full fanfare and we write an entire thing about it. We'd just take a box of biscuits down to the other end of the village and go, can you show me how to do this?
Hmm.
So there's quite a lot of piecing it together, but when you find like a solid account of something, it's
Hmm.
so exciting.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
would agree. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because you talk about, by the way, I'm planning to use all of this in our
Just
podcast
clip it
episode.
back in.
I'm going to plug it right back in. But I find it so interesting that, like, you talk about how it was just simply walking down the street to go talk to your neighbor. Whereas now, like, I, I'll be honest with you, I'm afraid to walk next door and ask my neighbor for anything because I've just got like that social anxiety, but also there's just, um,
You don't
you
want to
know,
like bother them or you
yeah,
feel
I
like
don't want to
it's
disturb.
intrusive or something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And so to think that, right now, like if I wanted to figure out something, I would just try to Google, but you're even saying that there's not much out there. It's like, man, what a challenge it is
Hmm.
for women to share our stories.
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. Like one of the things that was like the hardest while I was trying to research like medieval knitting guilds, because one of the rebuttals I get quite often for like men knitting is like, oh, well, it used to be a men's profession anyway. And so I was
Hmm.
like, was it
Yeah.
though?
I
That's
didn't
And
hard to
know
actually,
that
believe.
it was
I've
a
never,
it
man's
I was
wasn't.
saying,
It was
profession.
just
I've
that
never
women
heard
weren't allowed
that.
to fill in the census.
Wow.
Women weren't allowed to fill in the census because only the tax paying lead of the household, so the men, were allowed to have their names on the census.
Wow.
So we're going through the list of people that were in the guild going, oh, it's Mr. So and so. It wasn't. It was
Yeah.
Mrs. So and
Right.
so under his name.
Yeah.
Well, it's so
And that always
interesting that,
infuriates me.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Totally.
I find it interesting that you say that knitting used to be a male hobby because I would, I feel like I could argue that, hobbies are genderless, but knitting, if I really wanted to have a fight with somebody, I could say is for predominantly feminine.
Well,
Yeah.
but what you're saying that was that the women really were doing the work. It was just the men's name was on it. Is that?
Ah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
missed that part. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Let's talk
So
about this.
there was such a small pocket of male knitters that that's where medieval knitting guilds came from. They kind of grouped together in their own little club over there.
Hmm.
Even though women hadn't said they couldn't be involved. They'd made that choice on their own, then use that to exclude women, but take credit for women's work.
Hmm. So
And so,
fascinating.
like, you
Yeah.
couldn't, if you were a woman, the only way you could get into a knitting guild is if you inherited your husband's place through his death
Wow.
or going
Yeah.
missing or whatever happens to the menfolk when they disappear. Like, that's the only way you could get in the knitting guild in
Yeah.
your
So
own
it's a
right.
small percentage of women, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, it's because
infuriating.
once again, women were doing it elsewhere, not making a
Mhm.
big fuss about it. But the
Mhm.
minute that a man does it, suddenly it's a changing, exciting thing to talk about, which is why the book is framed around the lens of Tom Daley,
Mhm.
because he's not a particularly skilled knitter. He just happened to be doing it in a conventionally attractive early 30s male body in public.
Wow.
And
And
so
I
then
was
it's a big
like,
deal. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
like, hold on, why are we celebrating that,
No,
but
that's a
not
great way to,
hundreds of years
great
of
book
women
topic.
achieving things?
What a,
Yeah. To the publisher was fun, where I had to be like, I want to have a 70,000 word rant about Tom Daley with some knitting in there.
Love to rant in a book.
I'm curious. So like, have you written a book before or is this your first time?
No, this is the
Wow.
first one.
And so you just went to
Yeah.
a publisher and just had an idea and just kind of pitched it and they were, or how
So
does somebody get
one of
started when you've never
my
read?
one of my friends writes books on musicians and
Mm,
also Terry Pratchett.
mm,
Like a general call out of, my publishers looking for nerdy things, deep dives. And I was a little bit on the warpath on that day, apparently, and just straight off sent like a full chapter list over
wow.
for the history of knitting and like contemporary gender and like, excuse me, knitting as artwork and why we do it. It's just a craft, but when the men do it, it's suddenly craftsmanship and art
Mhm.
and important. And they hear back from them for about a week, and I spent the whole week just being like, "Oh no, have I just ruined not only my own idea but also my friendship with this person?" Oh no, proper stressed out about it. And then they emailed me back and were like, "Yeah, our lead publisher actually really loves that as an idea.
Wow.
Off you pop. You've got 18 months."
Wow. That's so cool.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Hmm.
It seems like you're
Thank
really
you.
good about being confident in who you are and putting yourself out there. And it seems to really be key to your success. And kudos to you because I feel
Hmm.
like that's something I wish I had more confidence
Yeah.
in myself.
Oh, bless you.
So you're inspirational for someone
Hmm.
like me.
Hmm. Hmm. Same.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I draw a lot of my confidence, though, from the shoulders of the giants that I stand on. Knowing all this women's history and knowing all this history of what I believe specifically, it feels like I'm letting the side down a little bit
Mm.
if I don't dedicate a little bit of time every week.
Christine.
It feels for hundreds of years of women if I don't share these stories with other women, but also the wider population.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they did all of that for me
Mhm.
to be able to sit here. And the least I can do is spend 10 minutes doing a little bit on some socks every now and again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have never even like looked at hobbies that way, but that is like a really cool way to look at another way to look at hobbies is that connection with the past. So that's,
Absolutely. Like
yeah.
I said, it's very inspiring for me. I
Hmm.
feel like
Hmm.
I definitely am keeping that in mind going
Hmm.
forward. It's like it's part of history.
Yes.
I
That's
need
right.
to go work on
Right.
some wax seals.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
exactly.
right.
Everything I do is intrinsically important because
Right.
I am part of history and I
That's
am
right.
doing it. Leave me
That's
alone.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Love it.
Love
Love
it.
that.
We'll let you. We'll we can
Yeah,
let
sorry,
you
I'm
go.
talking your ear off.
No, you're good.
I'm totally going to use all of this post
You
the
should.
podcast
I'm just
episode, by the
interested
way.
in.
Fine.
Yeah, you're a very interesting person. Like you have a lot of interesting outlook on things. So,
That's all right.
um,
You can have me back if you want at
okay.
some
Yes, as soon as
Good.
you publish
Good.
that book,
Yes,
we want to talk about it.
that's
Tell us
right.
all about it.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll let you go for now. All
Brilliant. Have a good weekend.
right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.